pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Typo there. I think that Sherry Conley's name should be H-E-I-N. What have that? I think it's H-E-I-N.
This is Tracy. Sherry Hines.
So they just call me that.
H-E-I-N-E-S?
No S, just Conley.
H-E-I-N.
I'm pretty sure the wife of one of the missionaries from our church.
Oh, right there. Marlene never named it right. H-E-R-I-N. I just have a Henry spelled it.
Well, kind of, I didn't know if she spelled it with Y or I-E. Somebody spelled it with I's. With those that correction, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of Wednesday, May 29th.
Do I have a second? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Carry 3-0.
Thank you. I needed that.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna send it in. And I get a call on that address, I put it in. But it's what, it's really something I want to go through though. So that's going on.
Okay, 2:15. Yeah, I entertain a motion to go into public hearing with Bushwise Solid Waste Review.
So, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, Bushwise and
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners?
Good afternoon.
It is a nice afternoon.
Yes, it is. It's a good day to talk about trash, isn't it? Anyway, we appreciate the time again, following up from our petition that we filed back in November to be heard regarding our trash solid waste assessment. Met last week with you here. Hopefully you're also in receipt of the email that we sent to you last Wednesday at 5 o'clock regarding our calculation and a memo that kind of helped everybody, bring everybody up to speed. I'll turn it over to you again, Mr. Chairman, on how you want us to proceed here. We give all the documentation, tell us any questions you may have.
Yeah, the hearing process is going to be somewhat informal. We'll just lay out a couple of ground rules, which I think all of us are somewhat familiar with. The goal proceeding is important. We want to make sure that the fees that were assessed have been rationally and fairly applied across landowners in Atchison County. It's a public hearing, so obviously taking in a public meeting. Any evidence presented in this meeting is going to be up to public review, available to the public under Kansas Open Meetings Act and Open Records Act, unless some exception may apply. We'll consider testimony today, any statements, evidence that you're presenting towards us. Please direct them to the board, I'm sure you will. But basically, any public comments between the audience and us is inappropriate, so this is between Jonathan and Representative Bushwise and the commission. And we did use a great deal of discretion setting solid waste fees assessments. That's KSA 65-3410. I don't know what it is, but
I'm sorry, you have to understand.
at the conclusion of it, we'll deliberate, before making a final decision. So based on the evidence and testimony that you present here today. So we can't promise a decision will be made actually today, but we will take all evidence under consideration.
I can't go down and ask where my check's gonna be?
We were planning on stopping.
Stop through.
Oh, man, okay, well, maybe tomorrow it'll be now, right?
Awesome.
All right, I'm sorry.
You're fine. So,
Okay,
ready to
well,
proceed?
yeah, again, we sent you an email last Wednesday that basically lays out everything, put it in a email format, and a memo, which I'll be happy to read if you'd like me to, or do you want me to read all this information here that I sent to you on the?
You've already read it.
You've already got that?
Yes.
Thank you for making copies.
And make copies there too, so, I guess you have everything in front of you there. Is there any questions? I don't know what else I can say other than what I've already said, and what we put in the documentation that you all have in front of you.
I can walk us through it real quickly, just to, if you'd like me to. I kind of feel like this explained it, but basically what we did is we took the information that the county utilized to calculate our solid waste assessment, which was 3 months worth of trash that was dumped at the transfer station, May, June, and July of 2012, and also utilized the conversion factor that the county used, which equated a number of pounds per 26 cubic yards of waste, which was 1,040 pounds. And the first thing that I noticed, I didn't notice this right off the bat, there was an error on the sheet that this sheet, the one that's called business waste to fee conversion.
Okay.
This, I believe, and as far as I can tell, is what was utilized to calculate the initial assessment, even when it was at $72. If you were just to use the $61 times the units that's in this document, that would come up with the assessment that we were assessed back in November. So that's what I utilized. But what I found was that the quarter pounds was only May and June, didn't include July. So on my analysis, where I'm comparing the county assumptions to what we have, I'm actually utilizing that full quarter, which is 179,000 pounds, not 134,000 pounds.
She didn't make that correct.
I did, yes, I did in my analysis.
But that
Just-
was my question, I'd say, hey, leave it out, it's in your favor, you know?
No, I know, but I think for illustration purposes, I think it helps to explain, because if you take that 719,760 pounds, and you calculate the number of pounds per, we only have 40-yard roll-off containers at our facilities. Take that, so I had to convert that into a number of pounds based on 1,040 pounds, and I came up with 1,602 pounds per 40 cubic yard roll-off, and came up with an estimate of the number of times that we would have had to dump each of our roll-offs. I think we have 2 out at our distribution center, and there were times during the year where we had 1 down at our Fifth Street location, and we would have had to dump those roll-offs 449 times in a 12-month period, and that just didn't happen. That's dumping more than once a day. And our trash bills from Martin shows that we actually dumped 77 times. And then that's how you get into the calculation of what I think our assessment should be, which is the number of pounds per roll-off at 1,602 times 77 total pounds, gives us 123,000 pounds of waste instead of the well, that's actually that's an annual number. We converted that to the number of units based on the 26 cubic yards that was established by the county, and then took that times $61 and came up with the assessment of $7,233.38. And that's just how we best thought it would. You know, you utilize the same information you all use, but then, you know, adjust it for what we know.
I can also just add on to that, you see the assessment that we paid, the discounted assessment that we paid of $15,794, and then what the refund that the county made a note of here a couple weeks ago, what certain businesses would be refunded of $1,700. You know, again, all in, we're asking for a refund of $6,823.62. After all that, since we've already paid $15, so it's time to net us back $68.23.62.
Has that refund though been processed yet?
No, it made the press, but it hasn't made our bank account yet, no. So.
Is there any questions about the way I went about this?
It looks like you're using some of that, to calculate it, and I know Chase is here as well, based on what we're looking at on the sheet, using the same numbers or same calculation formula that you use. Is this?
The one question that I did have, because on page, in the packet, we have, on page 4 and 5, we have the individual breakdown of when we received the Bushmize, and that's in pounds. So what we're seeing is the assertion that a number of pounds per roll-off would be 1,600 pounds, and
No, that's the number of pounds per 40-yard roll-off.
per 40 yard.
Calculating that, using that 1,040 pounds that I believe you used.
Well, then the numbers that we're seeing on an individual basis and then on an aggregated basis on the summary, we have some fairly large numbers, so either that indicates that the loads are heavier or we're getting more loads than we're letting on. So, because it was the assumption, and what we have from Martin is that it's a month and a half, or 10 days, every 10 days, our roll off is taken from, or is it
I don't have that information. I just have the bill that says how many times they came and got them.
Okay. I think when I talked to Mr. Lutz, he said it's to the point now, because of the time that or when we did the solid waste assessment, that it is almost a call as needed basis.
It is now, yes.
So, And that's reflected as we go into the next page, we're seeing lower and lower and lower numbers. But if we assume that at 1,600 pounds for a 40-yard roll-off,
I don't assume that, you do. That's your number. I mean, it's really your number. It's just basically taking, there's 1,040 pounds and 26 cubic yards, so that means there's 1,600 pounds and 40 cubic yards. I just utilize that same number. I guess, and I understand that you have all of this data as well, but the assessment was actually calculated based on only 3 months, not these months.
exactly. And I think that is something that we all need to know, is that when you have 2 assessments, you have one that's based off of 3 months of data and some arbitrarily assigned figures, and you compare that to an assessment that has 12 months of data and so many more known variables, the two are going to be inherently different. And then on top of the fact, the 3 months that we did use in the assessment are your high volume months, which is going to give you, and if you take that segment of the year and it calculated out over a yearly projection, it's going to be inflated. And then on top of that, you've also, and we've seen drastic reductions in what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's inflating the disparity even more.
Well,
So-
and I think that, the other thing I'd like to point out too is during May, June, and July of last year, we were doing some pretty significant renovations to our Fifth Street, because we don't normally have a 40-yard roll-off down at the Fifth Street location, but we were doing some renovations to the building and such that would have probably contributed to that higher volume as well.
So what we have is a disparity between 2 numbers. One, based on the amount of time that we had to get it in before the budget so we can run our solid waste department, and then one calculated after the fact, which is going to be, when you have more information available, you will have a different number. So,
What months were the renovations?
May, June, and July, yeah.
About the same timeframe. Most of it's probably May, is when it was in that roll-off down there, but.
Mhm.
Yeah, just indicate, I mean, you had about, see, your May, June were a little higher, but then you had about 4 5 months effectively that was pretty consistent. So that would sure indicate that those 2 months may have had something else going on.
So we are willing to concede that, we had if nothing else, an information disadvantage when we assessed versus as we're addressing it now, or even several months after we had sent out the assessments, we had more information. And when you do an annual assessment on less than an entire year's worth of data, you do leave something, you do leave the argument open to speculation, you do leave it open to, you leave it an open-ended conversation. So, I think the purpose here is to find something that is agreeable. We have plenty of numbers. It's what you take into consideration, and how we arrive at what we won't call it a fair number, but we'll call it an appropriate number that still gets us to where we need to be, and also is more reflective of what Bush Mines has generated in terms of its trash.
And while I certainly don't like to pay any more tax, the fair number based on the right calculation would have been $7,233.38 compared to $35,000, but then you discounted that down to 15. So that's where the true assessment should have been. If everything is done correctly through the information that the county provided us on how this was all calculated. So then, that's what it should have been originally, but it wasn't. So, it's highly inflated, the numbers weren't even right. The spreadsheet that Chase used, again, didn't even total the correct amounts here. And that's not just for our business, but that's everybody across this whole spreadsheet. So, you know, there's concern with, as we pointed out in the letter to all of you, the concern on how the I want to call it the significant math error on that spreadsheet you give them. So,
It just kind of casts
Yeah.
doubt on other, when, you know, of course, me being a numbers person, it just tends to, you know, cast doubt on the reliability of the entire process, really. When you have errors like that, I mean, if we would have assessed based on that, the county would have gotten a lot more money, you know? And so that's the, it just, like I said, it just kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth about the rest of the process and the rest of the numbers. And I honestly, I don't even think I saw this until probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
yeah, it came in our hands just a few weeks ago, and again, you know, that's how we were asking back in November how this all came about, and, you know, 6 months later, we're finally getting the data that we needed and we wanted a long time ago, so, and again, the committee's working on the solid waste committee that you have all put together, and I know it's gonna be challenged as we go into to next year, 2014, and, you know, what's that assessment gonna be, you know, again, and then what we're doing here at our company, as Chase mentioned, it's an as-called needed basis with Martin's. We have fewer pickups, we're hauling more stuff out of town that's not even touching our landfill here, that is being hauled off, well, the cardboard, plastic wrap, paper, you name it, is being hauled off by a third provider. At the same time, we get compensated for that. So there are some good things about recycling, I will give that benefit. But it, you know, that's a given, and we all need to do more to help the environment. But again, that's where we're at, I guess, requesting a refund back from the assessment that we already paid for. So I don't know what else more we can provide, other if you have any more questions, and hopefully an answer, or where we will go from here, I guess. And I don't expect an answer this minute, but it would be nice to say you're good. I can go down and pick up the check, but I know that won't happen, so that's okay. I can wait until tomorrow.
Another quick question.
I don't really have this one, because I've looked this over, and I've got some other data just provided here, saying about maintenance and comparisons to, I see where you come from there. You're using some calculations, and we've got weights now that we can actually compare that to, and that's the thing that concerns me a little bit,
And that weight number I don't know if it's right or wrong, I have no idea, but that was the number that was used by the county to calculate the.
I'm saying the actual weights, so we know what the actual weights are.
Mhm.
So, that's my concern at this point. But I understand that I was crunched just like you.
When did you implement the recycling?
We've always recycled.
Yeah, we've always recycled. We were always, I mentioned to Chase when he first came to see us, we've always taken our corrugated, our cardboard, and always outsourced that. It's always been taken. So there wasn't a lot of that going in our dumpsters. Plastic wrap was, but basically we took an even harder initiative, basically in November, when we were here, and even are doing more now. Magazines, all the stuff in the office, it's all being boxed up and going out the same time, just picking up our corrugated, all the other computer paper. So we've always been recycling for the past several years, but now there's even more of a stronger initiative on it.
You might give me some specific, okay?
Yeah.
That you're actually getting over and above what you cost to haul it off, you're getting reimbursed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have it's a company out of Kansas City, and we have a baler that all of our cardboard goes in. You're all more than welcome to take a tour of our facility to see what we do. For years, we've always had our baler, and all the boxes go in there, cardboard, and mash it up in a big bundle, like a big hay bale, if you will. And every so often, the company comes in and hauls that out of town. So they're hauling that, and we've done that forever. I've been with the company 25 years. Even when I was a kid in the warehouse, we were doing it for years before that. So we've been always doing that. So it's just even more going out. That's not even going into our transfer station here. So.
Okay, and that's, I think that way, that needs to be taken into account, whether it's an assessment or whether it's a tipping fee. And the tipping fee in you guys' situation would immediately take effect. We wouldn't never go through something like, this. And, we get back to this recycling thing is, they tell us that there's no money. And I've talked to 2 or 3 people around Rancho, and they just think, with all the recycling, now you guys are specific, you're doing cardboard and magazines. We're talking about the one source recycling.
Sure.
And I know Brown County tried to just shorten it, they said, you know, never, when you go over years and years, it said recycling will never pay.
Sure.
And we're seeing that now, and even for recycling, we're paying a company to take it, and how much they give, I don't know. But
Sure.
under our new contract, until commodity prices go up, we're gonna actually pay more on recycling, if it's truly recycled, if you understand. what
Sure,
I'm saying.
yeah, makes sense, yeah.
Yeah,
Look at any ways to do that.
yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay, well, I guess we look forward to hearing back from you soon. The sooner, the better.
Well, and Jeff's father's had surgery Wednesday.
Sure. That's
So
fine.
let's shoot, maybe try to, we'll let you know, probably we'll shoot on Monday, maybe.
Yeah, I think communication will be key. Again, that was one of my biggest reasons why I was here. I'd like to hear back from you. I don't want to see it in the paper or hear it on the radio. I hope I get a call from one of you gentlemen to let us
Mary would
know.
Mary would like.
Well, I know, I read it, but that's what shocks me. But anyway, call directly to us would be preferred, and then you can go to the press and talk about whatever number you're gonna give us back, so appreciate it very much. All right, thank you for coming, thank you again for your time, appreciate it very much. Have a good day.
Good day.
All right, thank you.
Keep recycling.
Okay, motion to close.
Mr. Chairman, we close the hearing.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chris? You have something for us?
Here.
Okay. Matt, what do you have for us?
The only really thing I had was, I didn't know, do you wanna talk about the bridge up there in Dune?
What bridge?
Delaware Bridge.
What?
My day's been going pretty good, Matt. You talk about the Harrington Bridge,
Yeah.
people have to see that.
Have you been down there since the water went down?
No, but I'm sure the loans are gone.
We don't know. In the,
Like Mary likes it,
yeah. That's what we bring on that lake.
that's still a
Yeah.
there, isn't it?
All the times past, it's, all of it's flushed out, but, this time it didn't, so.
She likes to see the tree. They like to see it. It doesn't get on, he can't show it on the radio. so-
Yeah, I put it on the web.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This last week? Yeah.
That is a bridge that was, how do we want to find it, it was really poorly engineered. It actually met basic, but common sense didn't. The farmer said, no, it will not work, it will not crash.
I can send this to you.
You would have, I had a 2-hour tour, and we had to drive 20 minutes out of my way just to get around the river. Because it backed the river up for 5 or 6 miles.
I went down there this morning and looked at it. I've already gotten a call. Landowner wants this cleaned out before the next rain, which is maybe right tomorrow. The water city could get an excavator in there and it's too far off the bridge. The only thing we can do is we can take the crane down there with a clamshell and,
Push it around, see if you can get stuff to go.
yeah. That's about the only thing I can do with it. That or we can,
You don't have
What do you
anybody
do with
with
it?
a logger?
huh?
You don't have anybody with a
No.
logger that can ride in logs?
The only other thing we can do is, wait until it rains and see how much it flushes it out. It's supposed to rain, what, maybe tonight?
Yeah, and I think Pedro is out of it, so I'm hoping that we're gonna get it, but as high as that is right now, 2-3 inch rain would put you right back in the same situation. If it's in the right place and come at the right time, so. It's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't in Atchison County, it was an actual rescue Because I know some of the people that have, they're actually Jackson County, I mean, I know they're paying taxes in Athens County.
No, it was an actual resident. It was an actual resident home.
Yes, yeah, and it needs to be, and that was the point they pointed out to me, I mean, this is gonna be an ongoing thing, if we have a flood like that, that it's gonna be an issue, so,
Yeah, it's like Independence Creek after 2011 flood. I think it's backed up pretty bad too.
If there wasn't brush there, would the water still create problems? Did the brush
Well,
go out there in the height of the bridge?
I'm sure it would have flooded whether the bridge was there or not. And, I mean, you could take the bridge out, it still would have flooded. When the old bridge was there, it would still flood out there. But, it didn't look like it really washed any fields real bad to me.
well, it left, several people say it left a lot faster than they thought it was, because
Yeah, I was amazed when I went down there next day.
if you went over there on the Atchison, Jackson County line there, about, and, actually a mile from it, and, where you get right up there on the hill and look down there and see, I mean, it looked kind of like Lake Perry. But they said it was gone the next day, so I mean, it didn't get away faster than anybody anticipated, but there are places, I mean, I know we got someone up there by us good, and it did slow it up, but here again, that's not unusual up there, it did start having new channels to cross field because of the flood. So, you know, the closer you are down there, I mean, the first 2 or 3 miles are the guys that are affected, using it the most on that. And the amount of rain we had contributed very little to it. It was the rain that they had up in Ningbo, northern Jackson, and western Brown County that caused all that. So I guess we need to talk to them and see what they want to do.
If they let the reservation fill up their dams.
Kick the foot, if they could have come to agreement on building another watershed dam up there. But that brings up another issue I have to share with the commissioners. We got landowner out in my area said that watershed dams now are coming off of the ones after so many years, they're no longer tax exempt, and they're gonna go on property tax at the cost that they were, the cost to put them in.
Not the value of the land. I know after 20 years they come off.
He said his was, yeah, I just want to do a little more checking, but I said it didn't make a lot of sense to me because, you know, it's nothing more than a pond, and, you know, he had 43 acres of salt is what they had in that watershed dam, including the pond and the land around it, and,
You see it double, the value of the land double. Not just what, one time, but 2 times the value.
2 times the value.
So when it goes back on,
It's twice the value.
when it goes
should
back
be.
on, it would be 1 time. Well, typically, we have to,
Well, I didn't see his figures, I
I
just.
get figures off the time.
Yeah, I told him to go talk to Jim, and Jim said that he'd do about it, but it sounded to me like that. We got 2 agreements, so. But you said it's 20 years, because this one, he said, was built in the 70s, so we're looking at 40 years, it's 40 years old.
When were all these answers involved? Those were in the fifties, right?
After the 50s.
Those are all city assets, what was it?
Those were in the fifties.
Huh?
Weren't those built in the fifties?
By actual.
The flood was in the mid-60s. They would have been installed in this book.
This one, from my time.
I thought
That was just like
fifty-two or fifty-three. It might have been more than one flood, I don't know.
That's.
It was after the last flood.
Yeah, that was in my lifetime.
Was it 58 the last time it was flooded?
Seems like it, and I think it was about, well, like,
This one,
Mall was built like in the early 60s.
generate this one.
When was White Cloud, or White Watershed? And that's about the time that
I think it was like the early sixties by the time you really figured out what they were gonna do.
That's something there, so it's not exact, but that's
That's what the time teaching on the kids.
the ton.
You know, what you for
I just took, the total ton of MSW, and then I took the CD off, and sometimes, how's it, CD.
That's pretty high.
Well, I know, but that's basically what the cost of the stuff here.
I even figured it's 45, that still comes out to what we got. Okay, thank you.
Nope.
You got the new trailer, I take it?
Yeah.
How's the grader thing going?
Good, good.
I didn't, we had removed the column.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were running a little behind, and so we had to stop. I come by there 10 minutes to, actually met you coming
Oh,
down.
right.
And so they,
No, it went good. They left the grader with us, and Tony's actually
Tony's in there.
south of, Arrington, down in that area today, straightening out where it washed across the
Do you
road.
any more on cold or push?
No, I don't know. Hey, that thing's all-wheel drive. You think it'll make that in there?
Yes, hey, I guarantee you, yeah, exactly, Bill.
Yeah.
We'll get down in there.
But no, actually, Tony ran it for, I had him run it that same day for a couple hours, and he said he was already getting along pretty good with it. Well, just had to think about it a little bit.
Did you get any information, is the frame the same, I mean, or?
The frame is actually, the frame on the one we're demoing is the 12M,
Yeah,
and it's actually the same frame as the 14. Yep.
you're just looking at a little different horsepower.
How much cost difference
We didn't get them the price. Actually, they wanna come up and talk to the commissioners. I was hoping a couple of you would make it out to the demo, but, they'd actually like to set up an appointment to come up and talk to the commissioners.
Well, we probably ought to set that up sooner
Yeah.
with budget coming on.
I'll get with them and I'll get with Pauline and get something scheduled.
Yeah, Jeff won't be here Wednesday, so, we're not gonna make any kind of major decisions per se, and, so I'd say anytime,
Alright.
you know.
Possibly 10 to 12?
Just see what they got on their schedule, as of right now, you see we're pretty open, so.
Okay. Alright.
Shoot for 10,
Okay.
10 or something like that, sure. We were gonna try and aim for maybe Monday's meeting.
That, yeah, we'll talk about that later, because I think we need to give everybody enough notice that we may be changing, or what we'd like to consider that, so.
Yeah.
Thank you. Open house ambulance, Pat, was real good.
Yeah.
And I'm really good attendant, real good attendance.
Yeah, they were, passing out these vital vials, to everybody for, to label like medication that you're on and taking. So.
Are they supposed to go in the freezer then, or?
Supposed to leave it with the medication.
Just keep it where your medicine is, so when they come in and they look at your medicine, they just bring it up, and that kind of gives you good information, for the nurse gives you, so they're available, you can come and vote, and food and stuff, and they ship that on us, and they're ready.
sure you can talk about her deliberations, and, your decision has to have a rational basis, it's really the only requirement for all places, so. I have no doubt that any way you do it, it's gonna qualify, it's gonna satisfy that standard.
Yeah, I think the pounds per roll off of 1,600, looking at it now, I don't know if that's, just looking at it now, I don't think that's the right amount, but, we've got
Like I said, I told you, I
a
called it.
resolution that says that we, purchase 150 feet yards.
I called the lumber transfer station, they say their lowest was 5,000, their highest was 18,000, but they was constructing a new fitness, and the majority is 8 to 10,000 pounds for their roll.
But that's a 30.
That's a 30 cubic yard.
I don't know if it's calculated on here, but you can sure calculate what their actual was.
Yeah.
And I just kind of guesstimated, I'd say between 3 and 4 tons.
So 60,000.
68,000, someone's a little bit lower. But then again, after they got hit with that bill, they've changed their way, and that makes it even tougher to figure out, or it makes it look like our original figures were $3 off from what they were.
Well, anytime you deal with figures, Chris, Chase, you know, you can run stuff 14 different ways, come up with 14 different answers, and they all got some rationale to them. I've run this thing 2 or 3 different times.
Well, we just want to be fair about this, so I can see this model figure and scale in our budgets and go to that, and that'll eliminate all this, actual weights.
Well, the good news on that is, I met with WH Scales at 11 today, and, they looked at a spot right next to the transfer station off the road. They're off the top of their head projection that says it shouldn't cost more than $90,000 to put in a scale, and they can have a turnkey solution. It's just a matter of, do we put out a bid for the concrete work, do we put out a bid for the scales? That's how long it's gonna take, but once they get everything surveyed, they can have it in. The actual work is not gonna be, it's not gonna take that long, and they've done this before. They can sell you pretty much a turnkey option where you just buy everything, but it's not gonna be nearly as expensive. But I keep looking for what are the hidden costs, what are we gonna have to pay, say, Schwab Eaton for permitting or any kind of stuff like that, but it is an incredibly viable option at this point.
Well, I think, let the committee, discuss that, talk about that, and then we have to just kind of weigh out line, is that long range, is that something we're gonna go a little bit more to, because you still gotta remember the Effingham station is, you hardly ever see, well, there is one, it's just people that bring their own trash out there, so it's not even equipped for.
Well, as one solution that we could have included, because one of their suggestions was for everyone to commit 41% of the sales tax to this, to the solid waste department. One thing that we could do is say that our personnel expenditures and say $30 some odd thousand plus a tipping fee, whatever that would include, what Martins would be charged because they're the roll-off at the transfer station, just include all that in our portion of the sales tax. So the Effingham's transfer station is taken care of with sales tax money. So we don't have to have a scale, and we don't have to have this big convoluted mess that we already have in place right now. So, I think it can be taken care of with the sales tax, so that the tipping fee will pretty much cover our contractual services to haul it out.
The tipping fee on what?
Well, the balance, if we all commit 41%, that will leave that balance to be funded by either assessments or tipping fees. But if the balance, is about $600,000, that's basically what we budget for contractual services. So if the sales tax will cover the personnel costs and the $30,000 that we paid at Martin's to operate the two satellite transfer stations, the one at County Lake and the one at Effingham, then it's taken care of. The Effingham transfer station will be taken care of with the sales tax.
Yeah, that, I still think that contractual is a little high, because depending on what you're using contractual, because Definitol's a new contract, if we're hauling off, if they're on the charge is about $31 a ton, and we got 10,000 ton, that's a little $300,000.
We, that's what we budgeted for in the past, because we've had some years that we've gone under, some years that we've gone over. The $509,000 that we did budget, based on what we can project right now, and when we get back our May numbers, that'll be an even better indicator, because those are our May, June, and July are our biggest months. So when we get an indication of how much it's gonna cost us, or how much Definbol's invoice is gonna be for our 3 biggest months, we can have a pretty safe projection of what we're actually gonna spend this year. And it's gonna be less than the $509,000 that we budgeted.
Yeah, I think we had that kind of figured in those hoping for, but, you know, I know, figured in there too is, in the contractual is, you know, what we pay Martin's for.
That's an additional.
Trash from County Lake.
Yep.
And that's the other figure, I think Matt was, he didn't bring it, but I think you can say, is I think we kind of look at what the last 6 months cost to haul the County Lake trash off.
If
You can get that, can you get that for us, I'm sure?
we're gonna have to ask Martin's for those numbers, because unless, and I don't think we specify where these, if Martin's bringing it in, they say the Effingham transfer station or County Lake, I don't.
Yeah, you don't have to, it's gonna be Martin's.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
Martin's.
Well, I know they furnished that to Matt last summer, a couple of months, and I guess it opened our eyes, that there was 2 months it was costing more for the County Lake than it was. Now, I don't know whether they're in 40 cubics, I mean, they're not as big as the ones that Effingham.
No, it's a 20 cubic yarder, and the two
I mean,
at Effingham are
volume may
3.
not be there, but I think it's because it's further out, they charge a little more, I believe it is, but it's still cost regardless.
You good news?
I have great.
Bring it in hot dogs, leftover hamburgers,
No, they didn't even have any left over there. I thought I was going to be honest.
who's ever?
The boys that worked overnight.
They ate well, didn't they?
They did. They did. All right. First of all, Homeland Security bought us a White Car in the town office, and then we have to, they buy us a White Car, we have to sign off on the paperwork, and we receive it, and then we agree to maintain it. So I need, there's 2 of them. I need the chairman of the board to sign there, and then I need Holly and Pat to sign on their line.
Need those copies.
On both copies, I have to return both copies. Which we've had the light tower for, quite a month now, or I used it once on, 116 rollover, semi-accident. Very nice. All the fire departments are excited, I'm using that so he can use it if they ever have to go out on the bridge.
So the tower cost $16,000 somewhere near that.
fees, which is written there. It's MOU with a Homeland Security buy the light tower, and they gave it to us. The light just said, it's portable generator.
Yeah, emergency.
Diesel generator and huge light tower, it'll light up, we lit up about half a mile the other night when we used it on the highway. So, it's big and bright, and we use it down Bartlett, here in Bartlett, so it's not this one, but one just like it. To light up the scene, so you're not working in the dark. It's about a year every county one. So, all swing, six county in our region. The next one is a requisition for guttering, we're doing the guttering on the Knoxville Street building. For $703. That's who we ended up having, we bid out the rest of the building, we did it, and that's who. Had to do it, and they were the cheapest over everyone we did.
Direct guttering on
We have guttering on it, but it's falling off.
Is it the original?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're really, 30 years, that's the lifespan of it. And the third thing I have is I wanted to ask if you've had any more questions about the phone system, or if you want to see more documentation, or how you want to do the price that we have is only good so long. I haven't looked to see if we're close to that yet, but just wanted to see what your thoughts were on the network upgrade.
On technology. I didn't get an answer. I called Jefferson County and nobody ever called me back. I'm not sure they got exactly the same thing.
But they don't have the same phone system at all. Jefferson County does.
Who around here would have anything? Leavenworth.
And Wyandotte. And maybe so. So.
Where's the city now? Adam, there's one.
The city wants to see us use it, and then, once we see us use it, and maybe join later, but not right now.
Looks like to me.
And that their phone system, they have, their, the city match, so. It's only,
They don't need to upgrade it, correct?
yeah, but our problem is 20 to 25 years.
Ours is 25 years old, and long as they do, it's going to sell on us, and we're trying to be proactive and replace it before it dies on us, because if it dies, we don't have phone system. We don't have to double what we would have getting one in the first.
I realize that if your numbers are right,
My thinking was we'll wait later on in the year to see kind of where we're at.
well, it's not going to affect us till next year. And it's, the way I understand it, I mean, this is not actually, it will come out of the department, pay so much for the telephone bill. And the money from them will go towards the payment on this stuff.
I mean, yeah, but just we had a slight increase because of the network, is that right?
Yeah, this is a network upgrade. Sorry, network upgrade, the sooner the better, because when, I mean, right now, we're utilizing more than what we can, we're bottlenecking our network as it is. With the appraiser here in August, September, is their busy season, they won't be able to function. take them up to 6 months to get the fiber laid. Now, in the interim, they will give us bonded T1, so they slap 2 T1s together, to get us up to 7.5 meg, for a discount rate. But we need to get AT&T to go ahead and get the fiber into our building, because right now, we're trying to use more than what we have.
So you could say, you backing up all this?
He's spot on, and as far as the red flag with the city, they're just waiting for us to put the bill on the expensive stuff so they can tie on later and just purchase phones and switches. Because a lot of the purchase is ECS and your server involved with it. They'll wait for us to put the bill on the expensive stuff and then join on.
Can't we come up with some kind of agreement where if they come on later on, that they split some of the original cost?
Absolutely.
Fair, I mean, that's fair. That's
But-
not bad.
Yeah.
Either that or make them buy their regular loop, then they would have redundancy and we would have redundancy. Or charge them a usage fee. I mean, there's lots of ways to work that out, but that would be one of the first things I'd say if they want to tag on later.
Yeah, want to be fair.
What percentage of the cost?
Yeah, percentage, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Would they have, but their system probably would be
They wouldn't have as many offsites, they would have some similar, they've got, their systems, their setup would be slightly different, they got some different challenges. I mean, they have some infrastructure stuff that they would have to build before they would be able to get in their system.
They
Yeah,
have fiber to all their locations.
but internally, like mainly like in City Hall,
They
like they have some serious
rewiring,
challenges.
their wiring is,
Subpar.
that's the word we use. The wiring for, yeah, they were gonna spend $9,000 to upgrade to where it would work, so we don't have to do that, because our network was installed correctly. So,
check out the date, see how much we're trying to find,
I bet we're about pushing the end of it.
well,
End of the year.
No, I bet we're pushing up the end of
for
the
the
price.
bid.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't bring it with me today to see when it was submitted, but I bet
Your
we're.
packet?
It was the date on the packet that I gave to you, yeah. 30 days from the date they put on their estimate.
What is it?
Probably about there.
Yeah, we had that back for 30 days.
You read that list, that?
Well, we're still gonna honor it, because they keep calling me every Monday, Wednesday to see if he's made a decision, so.
Is that something we should get a commitment from the city before we?
You won't get a commitment from the city.
No, you can't do, we use our head and then they sign it later, they have to get an agreement or something, so.
That's a bulk.
So no,
The financing capital says the quote expires 2028.
we can stretch that out. So we're at the limit then.
I know what I did last year with the appraiser's office and motor vehicle system. I mean, I guess that'd be a budgeting question for next year, but should MVP be putting some of the load on some of this just because it's new DMV systems, the one that's probably crashing us?
For the network, yes.
Yeah. You know, we have a budgeting question for.
I mean, it's not just them, I mean.
No.
Everything takes more bandwidth now, so.
But it took a drastic step
Yeah.
up when the new DMV system
Since
came
you're,
on.
you're calling that, I guess you can, combination of all of them, and yeah, you can't necessarily say it may help put you over the top, I suppose.
But on that one sheet I gave you, it raised what everyone's got paid for internet, from paying $15 a month to paying, I mean, we split out the upgrade bandwidth between all the offices in the courthouse. So they already put the bill
Okay.
for the fiber. It's $158.33 is what they were gonna spend.
Chris is a voice network upgrade that we've been looking at for roughly months. So our system's 20 plus.
You ever heard of a big RFP called RFP?
Voiceover on that protocol.
Here's just one for here.
Nice to meet you.
I've heard that before.
The only two two that I've ever used phones around here were Benedictine and Hospital.
So hospital are using Cisco.
Hospital put in
Hospital's
new, yeah, they put in new when they built the new hospital.
Ours will be an upgraded addition to what they have, because they've had it for 6 years.
It's been open a while?
I don't know. Yeah, 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
And if we were up to move, we could take
All of it.
All of it.
All of the stuff that's in the ground, like the fiber that comes to the building, they'd have to cut that back to a different facility. Other than that, all the hard work would come with us.
You'd have to do it before you go,
Yeah.
unless you had high powered wireless.
Which we're looking for high wireless from top of the facility out to all of our locations, so we can cut our internet expense. So we have zero monthly, right now, each outlying location pays around $100. So if we were able to get in the wireless and then, cut that recurring $1,200 a year for office. So then you're gonna justify your jumping into your fiber a little more, because the fiber will come into here, but then it'll go out to each office over our wireless.
This would be like mothership and everybody else would.
Which is the way it should be. I mean, everything should come into the courthouse and then go out to each outlying location. The police city is, they have fiber underneath ground that goes to all their offices. Same with Jefferson County, we just can't afford to do that, because when they were laying fiber in Atchison, we should have jumped on board then, because we could afford it then. Now you can't spend $1 million putting fiber to every location.
So with that, would we have like a virtual private network?
We would, with the model that we're working on, it would be it's called a point to multi-point. Basically, you have your central location of the courthouse, and then each outlying office wirelessly connects to the courthouse. And so all their network traffic is comes through the courthouse and then out through our firewall that we're gonna put in place. It gives them a more secure resource to the internet, allows you guys to do some pretty cool monitoring, shaping, that kind of stuff also. And it allows a secure tunnel from the outside world to any computer or office inside your network.
I know we need the network.
I don't wanna rush it, I don't wanna.
Can I ask a question? I know that they was going to do the bond or the money. Are they still doing that?
No.
So we're on, we have to do.
So we would be doing the financing, and Key Systems, which is who Cisco uses for financing, will do 0% interest for 5 years. Or if we want, we can go local and get a bank locally and not get 0% interest. We've already been approved for 0% interest.
What you're saying is,
I can.
how much,
I can say that.
I can't remember, I didn't think, it's going through my shoulders and something else, but what was we looking at, $1,000, $200 a month more, is that what it is actually gonna cost?
With the network upgrade, I didn't bring it with me, because I figured y'all had it.
Jeff got it. I
yes.
got it, I was not too lazy to dig it out.
It is going to be a little more, because we have to upgrade our bandwidth to fiber instead of DSL.
But that's a long-term investment anyway, too, that is, I mean, and
Correct.
when you upgrade that, I mean, that's,
Correct.
that part don't bother me, it's just a matter if you're putting in another phone system.
It's $907.
We're just doing the phone system.
907.20,
Yeah.
what it shows.
More a year.
Yeah,
Or a month.
month.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, just doing the phone system, you would be saving money, but
The upgrade is.
we have to upgrade internet, because what we have is not adequate. So with the phone system, you are saving money. When you add the internet in there, that we have to upgrade at the same time. you're
So
not.
when we go to budget, so how do you do, I mean, does this now become something under IT?
What I wanted to suggest to make it a lot easier budget-wise, each office knows what they spend each month. You take that out, and then we throw into contractual and IT what your expense would be, and I think it would make it easier paper-wise. Don't you agree?
No, all IT expenses should go through the department. And that would include your connections to your internet and probably run the phone through there too.
I would.
That's what Jefferson County does. I think
Correct.
we asked Dr. Smythner how they'd run it, and that's what his suggestion was a couple years ago.
You may
How
have
they run
to
theirs.
you go track it easier and weigh getting phones on the wall, or you can do a lot more with it. And there'll be trainings, plus we'll be able to go, I mean, if people have problems, we'll be able to go to each office, and it's not really that different than what they're currently using.
That's gonna be my question. Are we gonna be getting something that our employees are not gonna be getting?
Yes, you are going to get some stuff that some of your employees will not use. I mean, you'd be getting it no matter what. I mean, there's people that will use their phones more than others do. I mean, for example, my office, if you try to call my extension, and I'm not in the office, I'm gonna use the Find Me, there's a Find Me button on it, and it'll ring to my cell phone, or to my cell phone if I don't enter my office. There's people, like, Pauline may do it if she's out of the office, but some of her employees wouldn't probably use that. But that's not an option you can take out.
But on the flip side, to like, a feature they would use is, it comes with an instant messaging client. That way, if you've got a call come in it comes into the deed's office, it's going to the treasurer's office, and they're not answering their phone, shoot a message over to a lady at the treasurer's office, hey, you got a call waiting on line 10. Versus somebody getting up and physically walking over to the treasurer's office and fighting to mob people there at the counter.
And we can set it up to where when they call one main number, you say press 1 for the clerk's office, press 2 for the registered deeds office, press 3 for the treasurer's office. That way people aren't always calling, say, Pauline's office and say, how do I get a hold of this office?
Does it have, voicemail or
Yes.
something that at the treasurer's office doesn't answer, it would
Yeah.
say that.
Send it to somebody's voice.
Yeah.
They said you could set it up with a Hunt Group voicemail, where each department would have a mailbox, as well as each extension would have their own mailbox.
So each person, like in Pauline's office, would have an extension.
Yep.
Correct.
So if you want to leave her a message, you can call her extension from outside. She'd have a direct inward dial, her own phone number that you could call and get her desk and leave her a voicemail.
Or one for each office.
So does the county have to change their phone number?
Nope.
We've already got a UID block.
We can already record everything we have over and keep everything we currently have.
And you can tell it's pretty cheap, you told me what the cost was.
I don't have a 18 cent phone number.
Is what it costs.
Yeah.
Phones that come out of IT. No, the phones.
That would be the easiest way to track it all, just to have one.
How much do they cost?
I thought you said the opposite. I thought you said that the IT expenses should go through each department.
No, each department should go to IT. You should track everything through IT. All computers, you can add the phones.
So now if we did vote and we agreed on it, the financing piece of it, we probably need to review. We're just giving the green light to.
Correct. I need you to say yes, we would like to proceed, and then I would call AOS and say we want a contract. Then they would provide the contract, and I'm assuming that I would talk to him, and he would review it, and Pat, is that?
Well, Pat, we want to review it first, and then we want to find
And
out.
finance.
You know, if they want to finance it, because we need to figure out how to go in the budget with it. And that's part of the reason we probably need to, so we can get that figured in the budget.
Okay.
We can vote to go ahead and proceed, if we don't like the contract, we don't have to sign it. So
You're not signing it, you just need to tell me that we can look or how to draw the contract.
I would move that we authorize Wes to go ahead and contact them and get a contract, we'll proceed from there.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
So who are you contacting?
AOS.
The other open systems.
And his name is David.
Stephen Wolfen.
Stephen Wolf. Thank you.
Did you get down here yet, or you're still in the move?
He's everywhere.
I'm everywhere. I've been in both spots. Last week I was here 4 days of the week, so. I'm definitely making sure I have a solid presence here in all the departments of service.
Sometimes Senior Village, lots
Yeah.
of times in the court.
The one day I wasn't here, I spent the majority of the day at Senior Village, so.
He's a busy guy.
They get good food.
They do, you're right. Not not big enough portion soon, but it's good.
You just go out and go a different way, come in.
There you go.
Or just tell them you got somebody to do it.
When you got
Just let Cooper
right
in.
here, that you got, you just go out and kill them all.
There you go, redo it.
Okay.
I think that's all we got. There's a house fire down in Potter today, it's complete loss. Forest Department's just
You need to
gone.
go down there.
I did, I brought some drag hoses around and.
I'm talking the other way.
Whose house?
Do a little cleanup.
Whose house was it?
I can't tell you her name. It was one of my employees' daughters, one of my responders' daughters. I can't tell you what her name is.
One of your what?
One of my first responders' daughters' house. Yeah, that's all I got. You all have a great day.
And then you got budgetary stuff.
I just need to turn it into, and I didn't bring it because of the house fire.
Do you, make that 2 feet?
Tomorrow, Wednesday, not Thursday. Simpler, in here.
Where?
It works for me. I bring everything.
Talk about cloud usage, I think, something like that. The cloud,
I don't know another thing.
took me about 2 days. I went home at pre-med.
Up here in this room.
There's a guy, there's a guy.
It'll be much faster if you start doing more.
My house, yeah.
Who you need to talk to about.
Meet up here. Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. What else we got?
Pat, you heard anything back? Should we just go ahead and send that, Lancaster keeps calling me on particular, so. And I talked to a couple people, and they thought maybe that, maybe somebody, the solid waste committee is gonna have some recommendations. I mean, they maybe make a presentation at that meeting, because not all the cities are showing up to the meeting, so I thought that might be a good place for them to present some of their findings and ideas and stuff there, so.
Well, candidly, I didn't,
Oh, you haven't seen that?
I didn't know I was trying to find a different day.
Yeah. I think we just, they give us 3 days that work for them. Yeah, 6 too soon, yeah. I think we already set it for the 20th, and who could make it, it's good. I know we need to get their financial commitments. It's not as critical, I mean, the city's already made their contribution, or, so, I mean, that part's done, but they need to,
We just call, maybe we should just have somebody call and verbally talk with each one of the cities.
well, we can get that, but I'd like to disseminate some of this information out. These people really enjoy it. They want to have those, meetings. That's all they told me. They'd like to do this again, and we all agreed to do one, so.
5:30. 5:36. 6:15. Thank you.
You just call.
6 P.M., did you say?
That's all the waste committee wants to come answer questions about that get to it.
And are we gonna ask for agenda items, or we just stick with just solid waste, or we talk about anything?
Yeah, if anybody else has any agenda items, that's no problem there. I mean, I think,
So it's on the 20th?
And who should those requests go to? If they have suggestions for the agenda, go to Jack.
Come to us, since we're sponsoring the meeting.
Either they can funnel it through you, the clerk, or either one of you, I think would be sufficient.
had a couple, we did just, how should we handle these events that are coming up at the county? Like, do we have something in our policy book? If we do, they need to be knowing about that, so that when they sign these people up to have these, let them have these weddings, they need to fill, I think they need to fill out a form and make sure that they've got, you know, their liability, their own event liability insurance. Because they don't, I don't care whether it's just a wedding, somebody gets slipped or fall or whatever. And whether we could make it, those people already got it, you know, contract, whether we, you know, we can make it retroactive, but we probably need to have a resolution or a policy so that that's pretty clear, because I thought that's what Larry, the information I got from him was is that anytime we have something like that, that we need to make sure that they get, you know, their own liability. So what would be your recommendation? Should we, the ones that aren't accepted, we go back and still make them, or can we?
Well, is there a way for them to reserve the lake or something like that?
Well, apparently they just talk to the caretakers, and if they say it's okay, it's okay.
They should have a formal process with stuff in writing. This is
Yes.
bad business. Contractually, you should have stuff written down when it comes to liability.
Yeah. Well, you know, if 20 people show up and say, we're having a bachelor party here tonight, and our bachelor party is fishing or whatever, camping, I don't know if there's anything that we could really do about that. And so there might be some difficulty in distinguishing between, you know, what's an organized event, and what's just a group of people getting together at the lake to fish.
But they've called to reserve the lake for these weddings, so I mean, we know that that's an organized event, so.
Right.
I'm not trying to cause trouble, I'm trying to save some problems for us if we, I mean, like I said, it doesn't take too much to make you liable for something that you shouldn't be liable for.
I don't know what that threshold is for.
Could you just post a sign and take care of the fishing, camping, and the special events and all of that whole water? We're not reliable for accidents or.
Well, those kinds of, those kinds of disclaimers are largely ineffective. Or, I mean, you're not liable because you're not liable, not because you put the sign up that says you're not liable. We have pretty good protection in the Kansas, Tort Claims Act for people that are injured doing recreational activities. So there likely isn't liability for us anyway. But you still get named as a party to a lawsuit, et cetera. So it can still have to be an expensive thing even if you're not liable. And if you've ever been involved in litigation, it typically isn't. So, but I don't, you know, I know we addressed it once before when somebody asked us, is it okay with you if we do this? I don't know if we have a policy in general about preserving space or not. It seems like we discussed it one time.
That's what we did, that's what we discussed.
Well, yeah, I don't think we ever adopted policy, but when that, I remember that part, because I just saw that came on, it was March or April of last year, and there was one that was towards, like, almost Memorial Day event, I think it was gonna be like a 2-day event, and it was gonna be a wedding, and we just said, yeah, but I think they were even out of county people, and we told them that they had, and I don't think they ever materialized it, we told the caretakers that they had to have, because they're the ones that came to us on that, so. What's that?
Do we charge or is that free?
What did we do last event? Were we gonna charge them something like that last event? I can't remember if we did or not.
It's hard to think here, because I think the housing authority we had several discussion about events as well. So candidly, I don't recall. I think I made two things mixed up.
Okay.
can't remember if we had I couldn't remember if we had, it seemed like we were looking at charging amount, I can't remember what we were looking at doing.
Is there a way, without charging, I think the people who are out there, can somebody who charges sign a waiver, can you do anything with that? Does that lessen your?
It doesn't lessen it at all, only for the people who actually signed the waiver. But as I said, the Tort Claims Act has a pretty good waiver in place for you. I really think I'd have to do a little research, because I don't know what distinguishes